Hello Stampin' friends, it's Ayana Johnston here with another check this out video tutorial to show you. Today I want to show you how I made this double sparkling rose card, and I used the Rose Garden Thinlits to make this beautiful card, as well as two new great stamp sets in the occasion catalog. You can get the supply list for this card on my blog at www.checkthisout.stampinup.net. Be sure to stop by my website and go to my blog under the specials tab to see the new special that's going on as well. It's something you definitely don't want to miss. Okay, so let's get started making this card. To make this card, you're going to need two stamp sets, but the main thing you'll need are the Rose Garden Thinlit dies. We use this beautiful rose right here and this other flower for this card, and then we use two of the stamp sets. I used the Rose Wonder stamp set, and the one thing I use out of this is just the thank you sentiment right down below. Then the Timeless Textured stamp set. Love this stamp set, and with this one we're going to use this beautiful image right here below. For stamps, you're going to need Melon Mambo and Blackberry Bliss. You're also going to need some Versamark ink. I also threw in some iridescent ice that we're going to use with the Versamark ink. For cardstock, you're going to need a piece of Melon Mambo. You're going to want to cut this at 5.5 by 8.5 and score it at 4.25. You'll need another sheet of Melon Mambo, cut at 3 inches by 6 inches. Then you're going to need a piece of the Perfectly Artistic Designer paper, new in the Occasions catalog. This first piece is going to be cut at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and this second piece you're going to need to cut it at 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches. Then you're going to need some pieces of Blackberry Bliss, and this one piece is measured at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and then you're just going to need a scrap piece of Blackberry Bliss for those two smaller flowers. And last, you're going to need 2 sheets of Very Vanilla cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. So let's get started making this card. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out the pieces I need for my rose. So I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss and I'm going to run this with this smaller petal through my Big Shot. I'm going to run it through twice. And then I'm also going to take my 3 by 6 Melon Mambo piece of paper and I'm going to cut out 2 of the roses with the Big Shot as well. So I will go cut those and I will be right back. One other thing I want to let you know that I'm going to cut out with my Big Shot as well is I'm going to cut out 2 roses on the Very Vanilla sheet. So what I do to get the 2 roses background image here is I cut out 1 rose first and then I slightly overlap it to the left and I cut out my second rose. So I'm going to go do all of that and then I'm going to bring all my pieces back. Okay, now I have all my pieces all set, ready to go. And now I want to show you next what I do with these rose petals. What I do is I stamp using my Versamark ink. I stamp Versamark all over my roses and the smaller flower. I stamp it and then I go ahead and take my iridescent ice and sprinkle it over, and then I heat emboss it to give it that beautiful glitter look. So I'm going to do that right now. And there you go, those are heat embossed. They give it this beautiful raised look and this beautiful, beautiful sparkle. So next I'm going to go ahead and create my background piece of paper. And with my background I'm going to stamp using my Blackberry Bliss and Melon Mambo using the Timeless Textured stamp set. And I'm going to stamp on and stamp off. Actually, I should say stamp off and then stamp on, excuse me. And I'm going to do that with my piercing mat, so I go ahead and get a really nice crisp look on my background Very Vanilla. So first I'm going to use Melon Mambo and then I'm going to do Blackberry Bliss. Okay, next I'm going to take my 3/4 inch by 3 3/4 inch of the Designer Series paper, and I'm going to stamp my thank you in Blackberry Bliss. Next, I'm going to take my corner punch and I'm going to just make a quick banner with that. And then I'm going to quickly ink around the edges using Blackberry Bliss. Now I'm going to adhere my card pieces together. First, I've got to go ahead and take my perfectly artistic piece of paper and adhere this to my background very vanilla piece of paper. And once I do that, I'm going to tie a long piece of the Blackberry Bliss ribbon. It's on the clearance rack still. Get it while it's good. It's beautiful. So I'm going to tie a ribbon around that once I'm done adhering this piece, and then I'm going to adhere this to the Blackberry Bliss piece of paper and then my card base. One thing you'll see me do is I like to do it kind of backwards sometimes. So when I adhere to the card base, I'll adhere my adhesive to the card piece that's on bottom first, and it tends to help me a little better with lining things up. Okay, now all I have to do is go ahead and adhere my roses and my little flower petals and my beautiful banner thank you. And I'm going to use some two-way glue and adhere this down really good. And I usually take a couple extra seconds to hold it down, so that way I know that it really sticks. Next, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my thank you with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And then I'm going to add a touch of bling to this as well. And then there you go. One thing I'd like to just mention as a tip, sometimes I add some glue dots on the back of my ribbon to even hold it down just a tad bit more, especially when I'm adhering things near the ribbon or on the ribbon. And for those of you that like to do the inside of your card, I went ahead and took that other piece of Very Vanilla, and then I just stamped a little part of the image on the inside, and that way I could leave it open to write my thank you note. This is a great versatile card because you can also put wedding wishes on here, happy birthday as well, so it's whatever you like. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. Please be sure to stop by my website to see some more great ideas and my great customer order specials. Thanks for watching and happy stampin'!